Hey guys, Sean Terry, what is up? How's it going? Flip to Freedom family. Hope everyone is doing awesome, rocking and rolling out there in the real estate world. Cool. Glad to have everybody here. If you're joining us for the first time, I'd like to welcome you to our bi-weekly coaching calls I've been doing since November of 2010, I think it has. So we have all the archives inside the Flip to Freedom Academy there under the coaching call archive section. You can go listen to, you can download, and you can learn some stuff from on there, which is cool. All right, so typically in these coaching calls, what we do is cover something that is going on in my business, or things that are happening, or deals, or structure, or whatever. Anything. I usually talk about just stuff that's going on, and then we open it up for questions, and then I'll go in and answer your questions the best of my ability. So it looks like you guys can hear me okay. Looks like we're good. Morning. What's up? Okay. Cool. Looks like you guys, everything can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna disable the chat just for now, so I can focus. Otherwise, I'll be looking at the chat box every 5 seconds, which is not good. All right. So first off, a couple announcements. First, we have booked for Extreme Freedom Live. Now, Extreme Freedom is our live event, and it's basically a 3-day event. It's like a 4-day event. And on Thursday, what we do is what's called Money Day, and we sit in basically a conference room in the hotel. And it's Carol. The hotel is right by where they had Super Bowl last year. There's tons of restaurants, there's shops, there's malls, there's they got the Coyotes where they play hockey. They got the football stadium right there, which looks like a spaceship that came and landed at a, it's amazing. But it's a great place. They have tons and tons of stuff to do there, and it's all within walking distance of the hotel. So the hotel is perfectly positioned, right by the arena. And it's also perfectly positioned between all these restaurants and all these shops and all this open air type of stuff, which is absolutely killer. So we decided to do there, instead of doing Talking Stick, which we did this past year. Talking Stick is good, but then you have to go out and drive everywhere. Here you can just walk to a bunch of restaurants and bars and clubs and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So that's where the location's going to be. The event's going to be October 15th through the 18th, I believe. Let me see if I get my dates right. Yeah, October 16th through the 18th, but it'll be 15th will be what's called Money Day. Now, Money Day is where we have anywhere from 10 to 12 people in a room, and what we do is we go through and dissect each person's business. So they'll have some time to go up, and they'll talk about their business, what their situation is, and what their biggest problem is, their biggest challenge in their business. And then what myself and my team will do, we'll try to coach them through overcoming that particular obstacle. Now, we've done this at every event, and the results have been amazing. People that have gone to these Money Day events have come out and they've had literally breakthroughs. Where they literally go and they have this obstacle, because when you have an obstacle in your mind and it just stops you and you don't know what to do, but then you have someone or a group of people tell you, here's what I would do in this situation. It literally just opens up and you're going, holy cow, I never thought of that. That's amazing. And then they take off and they skyrocket. So you might be having some sort of struggle. You might be, just getting started or whatever. And you're wondering what to do. Or you might be in your business, you might be cranking, you want to take it to the next level. So Money Day is like a mini coaching mastermind group that happens on the 15th, which is Thursday, which is cool. And you get like VIP seating and stuff like that, which is great. On Friday, the main event starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got some cool things that are going to be happening through the event. I've got a couple speakers lined up. I haven't announced yet, that will be announced soon. But the goal of the entire event The goal of the entire event is to basically help you transform your life and your business in real estate. Okay, so you come to an event and we want you to leave completely and absolutely transformed. It's not a show. It's entertainment, but it's education, and the education is where you can literally come in not knowing anything about real estate, understand the process, the newest updated material, the process to going out and getting your first check and following what we call the 4 phases of freedom. So you get your first check, and then you turn around and you get 1 year's worth of income in the bank. My phone's blowing up like crazy. Get 1 year's worth of income in the bank, right? And then boom, you got 1 year's worth of income. Then you have now the option to quit your job. Then you go out, quit your job, and now you start working as an entrepreneur. Now you're working for yourself. So you want to set up your business correctly with the right numbers and KPIs and systems and all that type of stuff, so you can really scale it and then generate $100,000 a month. So we take you from a full scale all the way. That's one part of the segment of taking you through that process so you can visually see it. Now, the cool thing is my team's going to be there, so you're going to be able to hear from Nate, which is my outside sales guy. You're going to hear, what he talks about, specific deals, negotiating techniques that are working right now in the business, presentations that work right now in the business, appointments, examples, deals. So you get to hear from him in how we work in our company to go out and handle and talk to sellers on it. He goes anywhere from 10 to 15 appointments a week, going out and getting contracts all week long. That's all he does. Then you're gonna hear from like Jerry Beth, who she answers the phone. So, what the scripts we use, how we use it, talking to sellers, what our flow is for our entire business, okay? When it comes to scheduling, talking about trying to schedule the appointments correctly, what information you want to gather so you can be able to set that appointment up strategically so we can get that contract. And tonality and things you say in your voice. Then there's Brandon. Brandon runs our entire sales department. He manages our email list, blasting out our properties, talking to sellers, and we've been using now basically a 30-minute time window for actually bidding. It's a mini auction where we basically start at a price and we bid our properties up, especially the killer ones. And it's amazing. It's putting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on the bottom line of a deal, where it's just been insane. We'll show you exactly how that works. So the cool thing is it takes you through that whole process. And that's one side. There's the business side. Then the other side is what we call you, right? It's the triangle effect. It's why, it's some people, and you can be in the same exact market sending the exact same mail to the exact same list, and you have one investor that gets all the deals, and you have the other investor that's complaining and going, I tried sending letters, I tried sending them out, I tried to talk to people, I tried to do it, and they end up empty-handed. So you have two investors, same market. I see it all the time. I talk to people all the time. We got coaching on this, that, and the other, right? And I got a guy says he's in Cleveland, Ohio, and I go, oh my gosh, I sent 3,000 letters using the yellow letter to an absentee owner list, and I got no deals. And guess what? There's another guy that I know that's in Cleveland, Ohio, that's sending out 3,000 to 4,000 letters using the yellow letter, that's knocking down deals left and right. So here's the deal, right? There's the technical side of the business, which is the mail piece you send, the list you mail, the list, the script you can use. We try to give you everything that you need to be able to perform at the highest level. But then there's you, right? You are the only component to this whole thing. Right now, you go to fliptofreedom.com and you see the success stories of all the people who had success in their first checks. And I get tons and tons of stories that aren't even on there of people going, oh my gosh, it's changed my life. Oh my gosh, I got to check my first check. Oh my gosh, that have not sent videos in, but are just saying, oh my gosh, this is completely just amazing, right? So there is all these success. It works. The question is, if the question's not whether it works or doesn't work, the question is you are the piece to the puzzle. So, whether you got the list and the mail piece and the AdWords and the, all those things, you are that missing piece to the puzzle. So now we have to examine you, because now we look at and we go, okay, What thoughts are you thinking on a chronic basis? What type of ethics do you have? What type of morning ritual do you have? What type of feelings do you have predominantly all the time? When you talk about money and spending money, what happens to your feelings, right? What happens inside? Do you have an animosity about it? Does your stomach all tighten up? Do you like, or are you free flowing about it and you're just like, hey, it's, money flows in and out of my life. That makes a gigantic difference, and I can't explain it enough. So we're going to learn all the technical side, but then on the other side is the you component. Now, what we talk about is cause and effect. So cause and effect says that, if you want a certain effect in your life, success, money, freedom, lifestyle, nice cars, houses, vacations, if you want that, then you have to find somebody and you have to basically do what they do to get the effect, right? So what we're going to do is show you what you can do, the cause you can do in your life, in your business, to be able to perform at the highest level, but align yourself strategically to go out and open up the floodgates where when you do take action, you get amazing results. Now, have you ever seen people where, they just do it all? I don't know how they do it. They just, oh my gosh, and they have this and that, and they have a great family and the kids, and there's like, how they do all this, and they have all this, stuff, and it's almost effortless. Now, there's two types of people. There's people that struggle, right? And then there's people where everything becomes effortless to them. Deals line up, things tend to close, everything just lines up for them perfectly. And then there's the struggle where everything is a massive struggle. So I'm going to show you is what's the difference between the two and how you can, basically using the correct actions, using the correct techniques to be able to align yourself where you're the person where everything flows to you. You're the person where people look at you and they go, wow, man, everything just goes good for that guy. I don't know what the deal is, but that's what you want to do. Then there's the other side. So there's the technical side, specifically how to run a multi-million-dollar wholesaling operation, right? There's a technical side one. Then there's two, it's you, so you can effortlessly attract anything you want in your life, right? And have things come to you successfully. Then number three is how you manage your money, your investments, your wealth, okay? Do you know that that wealthy people manage their money differently than others, meaning they have multiple different accounts? I mean, like multiple different accounts. If you look at my accounts, I have income accounts, operating accounts, profit accounts, tithing accounts, government accounts. I have tons of different accounts, and I allocate money to those different accounts on percentages, to basically build up investment accounts, all sorts of different accounts that come in where money flows into certain accounts and then are dispersed to other accounts, that. But, I've never taught that before. I never showed exactly how that entire thing works. But you know what? It'll blow you away, because now guess what? You'll know that, wow, if I got to do this and this, I got to pay my bills and this time, I've got to, here's how I allocate funds. This is how I allocate it for, investment. Here's how I allocate it for taxes. Here's how I manage this and manage that. I'm telling you, it'll change your way. Instead of having just one business account where everything dumps into and you tend to spend everything, and next thing you know, you're completely out of money and it's not working. You don't have any profit. It's just a crazy mess. So what we show you is the whole spectrum. And that is going to be October. It's called Extreme Freedom Live. It's the newest, freshest, updated content. And the killer thing is there's wholesalers all across the country, and you want to, and we're going to talk about co-wholesaling and how to use co-wholesaling in your business. So part of this is networking with people across the country that you can make a good ties with, and then you can co-wholesale deals across the country, because we're going to talk about virtual wholesaling. right? Virtual wholesaling. You might be in a market where there's not a lot of potential, but guess what? You got the whole USA, right? And you can do deals across the country, but it has to happen when you make relationships with people and you can co-wholesale deals in other different markets, just like we do, okay? So that's Extreme Freedom Live. You can go to extremefreedomlive.com and it'll redirect you to the page. It'll give you more information about it. We have limited seats. It's going to be sold out, and it's going to be an awesome event. We're going to have a blast, and we get to hang out. We got all sorts of stuff, so it's cool. All right, so that's it. That's Extreme Freedom, and that is going to be killer. All right, so let's talk about what not to do. Okay, I want to tell you what not to do in business. And the other thing too is I want to welcome all the new people that have got started in the past week or so. That got started at 12K in 37 days. So I'm doing a live training that's coming up. It's for people that are brand new, getting started, or people that want to systemize their business or take it to the next level. But it's basically a 4-week training, and it starts on Thursday. Let me see, Thursday the 3rd. And we were going to do it on Friday, but then Chelsea, basically said, hey, I'm not going to have time to get all the videos edited and get them up into the private membership site and stuff like that. So we're going to do it on Thursday. She's going to get everything edited up on Friday so everybody can have it for the weekend, whoever couldn't attend on Thursday. So that will be that. We'll go through some details for that. Now, this is outside the Flip to Freedom Academy. It's similar to like the 100K Wholesaler, so it's in a complete different membership, complete different thing that we're working on, to where we will go through all different, the Flip to Freedom Academy right now, there is so much content on there. We have all the different modules. So what this does is just update for people that want to have more of a hands-on, ask questions, because we got so many people that are joining the email list, so many people are joining in there. And they get in the Flip to Freedom Academy like overwhelmed. They're like, holy cow. So this is for, for people that, didn't want to do the whole academy, but now they want to, basically, kind of like a 4-week hands-on type of training, which is pretty cool. All right. So that happens on the 3rd of September, and we'll go for a 4-week period, and we'll rock the house. You'll be getting emails if you did sign up for that. For that information. It's going to be killer. And so let's talk about what not to do. Okay. So here's the thing, is that when you start your business, or you live your life, right? You have 2 options, right? You can do, you can do the right thing, right? Or you can choose to do the wrong thing. Now, I'll give you an example. A deal came up where we got a property under contract with the seller. And we had it in escrow. We had it marketed out to a buyer. We had a buyer in line to purchase the property. And I think there was a pretty significant $15,000 to $17,000 profit. Pretty big, right? And then, right, and see, God tests you. God is not going to give you a ton of success, right, if he tests you on these small things and you make the wrong decision. So what happens is, in this particular case, and I've learned this because I've made the wrong decision many times, I get beaten up and I go, oh, I could have pulled my head out of my butt, right? So anyway, so the bottom line is that in this particular case, I got a call from another wholesaler. And he says, hey, I'm in escrow to purchase this thing. We're turning around and set to close this. And we find out through the other escrow that you guys have through an escrow. And it comes down to who got the contract first, right? So I said, okay, well, when did you get your contract? Well, we got our contract on this date. And I said, great, send it over, proof, and tell me, give me the escrow company's name and number, and find out when they opened up escrow. So I called them, and they opened up escrow. And it was literally a week before we executed our contract and we opened up escrow on our property. So then I said, listen, I just want to clarify this. Let's get on a call. Well, first off, I called the seller. And I said, hey, Mr. Seller, do you know who so-and-so is? They say you're in contract with them and that you signed a contract with them before they signed a contract with us. We're set to close, today or tomorrow, whenever it is. And now, I have to put the brakes on here because I don't know what's going on. I got to find out more. So, what's going on? And he goes, oh yeah, I did a contract with him way back and he didn't perform. His contract is expired. And that's why I contacted you guys. I said, okay, well, it's a little twist to the story. So then I got on the phone. I said, okay, well, let's get this guy on the line. So I pulled him in on the line and I said, hey, and it's all three of us on the line. I'm on the phone line him. I said, hey, Mr. Seller, I got Joe Blow Investor on the line right here. Can you please tell him exactly what I told you? And the guy clammed up. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what. I said, well, Mr. Seller, it's illegal to sell your property to two different people. You know that, right, Mr. Seller? Well, I don't know. I guess he had his contract. I guess he was performing and that. So the seller completely bought. The seller was the one that was screwing both of us around, right? So then becomes, what's the right thing to do? He's already have it sold. He's already has it done, right? It's already done. So I said, hey, listen, if you don't have it sold, I already got it sold. We're set to close tomorrow. Why don't we just do a profit split on it? And he goes, no, listen, man, I already have the thing sold. We're supposed to close in the next couple of days. You know what I mean? So we're good to go. And he said, why don't you just, cancel your side? So I had a choice, right? I could have blew the guy off and went to closing and said, so what, $15,000, $17,000 deal, screw me, sue me, right? I could have done that. Just sue me. Now, the question is that the right thing to do? Is it the ethical thing to do? No, it's not. So what I chose to do is I sent a cancellation to escrow. I told him I sent a cancellation. We canceled the escrow. We talked to our buyer and said, listen, we can't get marketable title because the seller ended up selling the property to two people. And the other guy got the contract before we did, so we have to back out. The buyer wasn't too happy, but is what it is, right? So we passed on that $15,000, $17,000 deal, whatever it was. And it hurt, and I was like, damn, I just hate that happening, right? Because my guys were working on it. I got my sales guy who's going to make money on it. This guy's going to make money on it and stuff like that. But it's the right thing to do. And guess what? It showed an example for my sales guy what the right thing to do, for Brandon what the right thing to do, for Jerry Bill what the right thing to do. And instead of just moving forward, closing a deal, screaming the guy and say, okay, great, come and sue me if you want any money. So those are decisions that are going to come to you on literally a daily basis. Give an example. Like I go to stores, and I'm going to buy something or this, that, and the other, and I give them some cash. You give them a 20, and it's a $10, and then they give you a $20, $30 back. And you look at it, now you got $30. It's her mistake, right? But she made a mistake. I gave her $20 for a $10 purchase and she gave me $30 back. Decision time. What do? I either go, oh, thank you, and I put it in my wallet and I walk away, or I do the right thing. And I go, hey, I just want to let you know, I gave you a 20. It's a $10 purchase. You gave me 30 back. I think you're supposed to give me 10 back. I think you made a mistake. You gave me an extra 20. And she goes, oh, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I would have been in trouble and this, that, and the other. It happens. People make mistakes. So we either can take advantage of that, right, as being an unethical person, or we can do the right thing. You're going to get decisions like this in your business, especially in wholesaling, all the time. Now, I can tell you, if you consistently make wrong decisions. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You might have the same mail piece, the same market, the same phone, stuff like that, but you may be living your life making wrong decisions, doing unethical things, and you think you're going to come into real estate, you're going to send some letters, and all of a sudden you're going to make a check and get rich. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? It's your karma. It's a mess, right? It's like a big black cloud because the whole thing. And guess what? I was like that. I made wrong decisions because I was struggling on money, or way back when I was like making wrong, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. Worse and worse. When I started doing the right things and making it a must instead of I should do that, and just kind of not do it, but I made it a must in my life that I will always do the right thing the best I possibly can. Now, Again, no one's perfect. Some things I don't even know, right? But if I know about it and I have a choice to make a decision, do the right thing or the wrong thing, I do the right thing every single time to the best of my ability. Now, because my intent is good, goodwill, put out good karma. So interestingly enough, yesterday, there's a guy came into our office, right? And guy's like 6'4". I'm 6'1", so I'm pretty tall. This guy's 6'4" in tats all over his down his arm, big tattoos. And he works out. He's big. And his wife was with him. He's walking in. He said, "Hey, is this guy named Blake Steele working with you?" I said, "Who's Blake Steele?" And he goes, "Well, he's your marketing director for Phoenix Wholesale Homes." I was like, "We don't have a Blake Steele." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, yeah, he posted an ad on Craigslist. He hired me to go out and post signs on the weekend. We sent him out on Friday. I put over 200 signs. He was going to pay us $2 a sign, put him out there. And then on payday, when it was supposed Sunday, I was going to get paid. He was going to cut me a check. The guy disappeared. And apparently he's done this. He posts ads, he gets people to put out signs, and then he doesn't pay them. And he has a trend of doing this. Okay. Well, the guy came in. Then he showed me an email where he was sending out our properties with his signature line, Blake Steele, right? Marketing director for Phoenix Wholesale Homes. Not good. Okay. So now I've got my attorneys working on it. I'm going to, if I send it to the attorney general, if I have to. And then we're going to try to find this guy. Because now, how do you expect to build a business like that? Screwing people. How do you expect to build? How can someone expect to do that, right? They can't expect to be able to, build a business like that. You can't do that. And so the bottom line is in this situation, I look at that and I go, that's what's not to do. He had a choice. He could have hired him. He could have went out there and put his bandit signs down, could have paid the guy and had a great relationship. And guess what? The reason he didn't pay the guy is because he's broke, because he's trying to scam everybody and he doesn't know why money's not coming to him, because money will not be attracted to someone that's a scumbag. It's not going to happen. Right? It's not gonna fall. And if it does, it's gonna be gone sooner than they can even think about it. So, I look at this guy Blake, and I'll find him, and I'll make sure we set him straight, and hopefully it becomes a great learning lesson for him that he can take that and never do it again. You know what I mean? Or he'll just be mad off and he'll just try to figure out some other scam he can get away with. But how can you expect to build a business off that? Hiring people, pout signs, don't paying them, trying to pretend I'm someone else's, for just build it, build the own business and build it. And it's just so stupid, it's not even funny. So if you happen to know and you're in Phoenix, this Blake Steele guy, let me know who he is, let me know where he lives, and we'll find him. And probably using a fake name. I don't know, pretty lame. But we got his license plate number, and we're working on ways to track him down for friends of ours. So the bottom line is that things happen like that. Now, so what do we do can protect ourselves? Well, when you hear something like that, first off, don't take it lightly. Jump all over it and handle it. Because if he gets away with it, then someone else will get away with it. But you know what? You want to make an example out of this guy, for sure, that no one ever does that again. Or for me, typically, if someone screws something like that, their intent is to screw people, then I'm going to bury them with everything I got. I'm vindictive when it comes to that, to handle that and stomp that out so it never happens again, and then becomes example for everybody else not to do it. If someone makes a mistake, oh my gosh, it was a problem or something like that or whatever, different story. But that's not the case with this. This right here is just blatant robbery and unethical. So what I want to express to you is in your business, you will come up to decision points that will split, and then those decisions will bring you down a path. Okay, so you'll be at a decision point to do the right thing or to the wrong thing, and based upon that decision, it's either going to take you one direction or the other direction. Hold on a sec, I got this things on autofocus and it's bugging me. Take autofocus off. Okay, good. So now I can back up and there are things that auto-focusing. All right, so the bottom line is just do the right thing, and you'll be amazed what happens to you if you've in the past, if you're going, oh man, I've done some pretty shady things and not so right, and they're right on the border, and you try to justify it because it's gray and it's just like and it's like, and you kind of twist it in your favor and kind of manipulate it in your way. You're going the wrong way. And I don't care how many letters you send. I don't care how many sellers you talk to. I don't care if you have Podio all set up. I don't care if you have our AdWords all set up. You will crash and burn. It's just the way it is. I've seen it happen over and over and over. Now, you start right now and say, hey, I'm going to make a commitment. I'm going to make right from this point forward, you know what? The right decision. I'm going to make the right decision to do the right thing at all times. Well, guess what? It might take some time, but you're going to build a way to where you're going to create momentum doing the right things, and amazing things will come to you, which is killer. And that's what this this is all about. That's what the Afflicted Freedom Academy is about. That's what Success Principles are about. That's where you can build something that is amazing. I mean, guys, back in 2003. I didn't always live my life like that. I made and I tried to spin them in a way, but it was total spin. And I tried to spin in a way that wasn't maybe the absolute right thing, and it was real borderline, and things sucked. I was living month to month. Things, everything was a struggle. Everything was difficult, and I had a really, really, really rough time. And yes, I got into wholesaling, but prior to me even getting into that, I started getting my emotional, spiritual crap together, and trying to do the right thing. And then guess what? Opportunities pop up. Now some people, what's good about you right now is you're like going, I don't have a problem, man. I live my life like straight and narrow, and that's good. Some people are going, there's a couple things I need to clean up or do or stop doing. But back then in 2003, it sucked. Things sucked, really, really bad. Or even, before that. And then I found wholesaling. I took advantage of the opportunity, and I still had internal struggles about money and to do the right thing and this, that, and the other. And it was it was decision points every single day that I had to be able to make. And, and I just made a decision, and it wasn't always profitable. It hurt really, but I had bills I had to pay at certain times, but I had to make decisions that were the right thing to do, that where the money now then wasn't going to come for some sort of reason or whatever. Things changed. I remember this one deal we had where, the realtor was supposed to get paid, right? But the title company forgot to handle it, and then the money came to us. It was like $2,000 or $3,000, no big deal, right? So I know some people that would keep it. They would just go, hey, tell you the folks' fault, whatever, just keep it, right? If you want it, come get it, type of thing. But they called, and she was all in a panic. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, this, that, and the other, and da-da-da. I was like, hey, what's your address? I sent it. I said a thank you out there with it. We sent the check out there. We FedExed it to her to make sure she had it overnight, and it was done. It was, and she was ecstatic. And guess what? She still does a bunch of business with us. So if you do the right thing, and you do the right thing all the time, amazing things will come to you. Amazing things will come to you. And I know you feel like you want to know all the technical side. Well, there's plenty of information for the technical side within the academy and what we're going to be doing in the training coming up. But the true important thing is that of what it will bring you down the road. I mean, like I believe in tithing. I tithe, you know, that's a must in my life, and I must tithe, and it's part of a spiritual ritual that is basically God's, it's commandment in the Bible, and I'm not going to break that. And ever since I've done that, it's just money's just flowed into my life, where now, along with doing wholesaling, building a business, building a team, opportunities come up that you get to having a lifestyle that, like, most of my friends, I got a buddy of mine who gets up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He's off to work in the morning, and he manages the markets all day. He doesn't come home till 6 o'clock at night. He weekends off or whatever, but he's he makes good money. He makes about $250,000 a year, but I can make 10 times that, you know what I mean? And take off summers, for the entire summer, go to the beach house, go on exotic vacations like the Disney cruise we just came back from 10 days, go to New York City and stay at the Plaza Hotel, at the best places. We rented a place in Hawaii at like a $5 million house overlooking the ocean, flying first class out there, having to the Grand Wailea, full access to it. It was sick. It's like the best, top of the line, best of the best, complete luxury. And I'm a dork, right? But follow the system, flipping houses, wholesaling houses, and continuously do the right thing. And guess what? Things line up for you where in just a short period of time, your life will change like that. But guess what? It's going to take effort. It's not easy. It is work, it's not push button where you follow a system and the results will come. All right, so I'm going to open it up for chat. All right, unmute chat. This is a question for Mike. In the case of a purchase agreement with assignment, the buyer signed that we will close on or before 45-day window. How do I get the buyer to agree to 7-day closing without altering the agreement that already shows they're on before closing date with 45 days? Well, first off, Mike, when I do a contract with a seller, right? And let's say theoretically it's $100,000 and the purchase contract is for 45 days. $100,000, 45 days. Now, when I market it to a buyer, right, and I market it to a buyer, I market it for $120,000, right? $120,000. Buyer comes and says, I want it. I want the house. And he signs with me, not an assignment. He signs a purchase contract. A purchase contract for $120,000, $2,500 non-refundable with a closing date of 7 days. I put in writing, he signs a contract, 7-day close, $2,500 non-refundable. Now I have 2 purchase contracts, but I know you want to do an assignment, so hold on. You bring them to the title company. They pull the paperwork and you say, you know what, Mr. Title agent, whatever, we're going to do an assignment instead of a double escrow on this deal. So if we could just prepare an assignment agreement or a nominee agreement upon closing, that would be great. We'll just switch this out. I want to keep the $2,500 non-refundable, and we need to close it within the 7-day time frame. And she'll go, okay. So call the buyer and say, hey, we're going to do an assignment. He'll come in, he'll sign the assignment docs right there. It'll be part of it. It'll all be done within 7 days, and he'll have $2,500 non-refundable at title, and he'll close it within that 7-day window. This one from me, I sent out 1 email and got a cash buyer. Boom. Hey, starts with 1, then goes to 2, then 3, then 10, then 20. Now, is it Vermees? Think about where you'll be 5 years from now. Think about where you'll be 5 years from now. You may have 10,000, 15,000 buyers where you can get a property under contract. You can put it on your email list, press send, and guess what? You'll have buyers flooding, calling, looking for deals. This is from Marcus. This the 6 levels of rapport, tolerance, neutral, understanding, identification, liking, seduction. Where did you teach? Where did that teaching come from? Is there a book, or I can get the rest of it? Um, I don't know where I learned that actually. Um, I don't know where. I was in a. I don't know actually where I learned that. Levels of rapport. Let me see if I'll see if I can check through my archives. I have a whole library at home with all books and everything like that, and I'll check in there to see if I have anything. But I read a ton of books like crazy. I listen to audiobooks. I don't listen to music. I go to the gym, in the morning if I'm going to work out and stuff like that. I don't listen to music. I listen to educational material. I listen to podcasts. I listen to audiobooks. I listen to information that's going to better me, and then I listen to over and over and over again. If I find something I really like that I really want to adapt and learn, then I'll listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. So it's repetition. The more and more you hear it, the more you can apply it and adopt it in your life. Just hearing it once goes in one ear and out the other. You can never apply it. But if you listen to it and you write it down and you want to apply it in your life, that's when actually change happens. So good question, but let me look for that. Where is the best way to find absentee owners? What percentage should I expect to get on the yellow letter campaign? Best place, well, Pamela, if you follow inside the Flip to Freedom Academy, I talk about absentee owners in ListSource. You can get them, or now Rebo Gateway is a great service that you can get them as well. So you can pull absentee owners and make sure you pull them with at least 10 years of ownership, depending on the state you're in. In Phoenix, the market went straight up and the market went straight down. So what we do is we go back 10-year ownership, so back to 2004, 2003, 2005 area. So you can do the same thing. Now, the people you're targeting are going to have equity. What should I expect on a yellow letter campaign? Every market's completely different. It could be 3%, it could be 5%. Sometimes we send postcards and it's 0.001%. So we'll send 10,000 letters and get 100 calls, but we'll book 25 appointments and we'll get 7 contracts. You know what I mean? It becomes a profitable campaign. So depends on your follow-up. So I've heard where, some people in the Midwest send, 3,000 or 4,000 yellers out and they get inundated with, 400 or 500 calls. So it just depends on where you are. How can I get my first deal from zero marketing money? Great question. What you do is you go on Craigslist, right? Craigslist. And you search Craigslist every day. Now there's a tool that I explain inside the Academy. It's called If This Then That, and it automatically sets up a search criteria and will email you based upon those search criteria is exactly what properties are that are basically just been posted that have your specific keywords in there. So I show you how to do that in the Academy. But it's calling on those. You call on those and you're going to get 2 people on those Craigslist. You're going to get one, it's a wholesaler that has a property under contract that you can get an option on, and then you can try to co-wholesale it by putting out bandit signs or trying to network with other buyers, part of your real estate investment clubs, or trying to find buyers for that particular property, number one. Number two, it's actually a seller who has a property that he wants to sell and he wants to get rid of, and you can contact the seller that way and get it under contract very similarly, and then turn around and sell it. This is from Caesar. Close my first $15,000 assignment. Boom! Caesar, congratulations. That is awesome. I'm excited for you. See, you turn around, you make $15,000. So Caesar made $15,000 in his first deal. 15 grand. You don't think that changes his life? $15,000? $15,000. Now, here's the exciting thing about getting your first check or doing your first deal. The most exciting thing about it is that, number one, you can do it over and over and over and over and over again. See, that's why cracking the code on your first check is so imperative, because once you get it, once you understand it, you can do it over and over and over again. Caesar will be able to turn 15,000 into 150,000 because he understands the process now. And once you do it once, then it's just a rinse and repeat process. Do you have the same results in heavily populated areas versus not so populated if you send the same number of letters? I sent 800 letters, my first mailing ever, 40 miles south of Houston. Well, here's the deal. Now, remember, Michael, and that's a good question. So, Michael, you remember that you want to target an area where a lot of transactions are happening. So, like, I don't market out in Tucson or Buckeye or Waddell or Casa Grande because those are all cities on the outskirts of Maricopa County where there's very, very little investor activity. So I might send out 100, 1,000 or 2,000 letters to all those outskirt areas. But if I get some deals, I'm going to have a very difficult time selling them because they're not not where the majority of the investors will purchase. There's very few. There's a lot less investors that will purchase. Now, I'm not sure 40 miles south of Houston if there's a huge investor market out there. I don't know. In the Flip to Freedom Academy, I show you how to find out the high cash transaction zip codes. So I show you how to look at Houston all around, maybe the whole entire county, and see where the most of the transactions. Maybe this one 40 miles south, there's significant cash transactions out there, which then it would justify you sending letters in that area. But if you don't know that data going in and you're just arbitrarily sending numbers to try to get a response, when it comes to getting deals, you might have a hard time selling them because there's not a lot of investor activity. Where do you find the objection annihilation method? It's inside the Flip to Freedom Academy. I think it's under module like 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. If not, send a support ticket to Chelsea at flip2freedom2@gmail.com, flip2freedom2@gmail.com. Do I still recommend bandit signs to find buyers? Heck yeah, bandit signs are phenomenal. Now, here's what you do. You put a bandit sign out, a seller calls in, you get their phone number, right? I mean, a buyer calls in, you get their phone number and you get their email address, so you can then put them on the list. And that's how you build your email database. I'm sending out a very first direct mail campaign tonight. Boom, congratulations, Scott. It includes some absentee owners, some inherited properties, and some from the Driving for Dollars. Should I send them in the same yellow letter? Which would you recommend for each? Yes, you can send them the same yellow letter for sure. And if it's a small amount, that's okay. In the future, though, Scott, you want to have a different phone number for each channel. So then you can know exactly where your dollars. So for an example, you got absentee owners, inherited properties, and some Driving for Dollars. What if you get 2 deals from your inheritance and none from absentee owner, right? So what does that tell you? It tells you that, holy cow, I got to get as many absentee owners as I possibly can because that is a high performing list. So the downside of basically sending all the letters to one phone number is you're not going to know which actually mail piece or actually list is the most profitable unless you physically ask someone, hey, are you absentee owner? But if you're sending a very small quantity, 500, 800 and stuff like that, it's okay, but I wouldn't make it a habit of doing that. I would definitely, and I show you inside of Flip to Freedom Academy call rail and how to set up your individual numbers like that. But I would definitely do something like that. Okay. Closing on a second deal in 6 days. Wife wants for rehab and possibly buy and hold. What's a good system to follow for rehabbers? Do you have any info in the academy? Good question, Caesar. First off, go to phoenixwholesalehomes.com. phoenixwholesalehomes.com. And let me see if I can find it for you. Hold on. Let me get the link for you where you can download this so you don't have to. Thanks. Okay, let me go back to Google. Okay, so I'm going to give you, Caesar, that link right there. I just posted it. So look at the top, Caesar. Look at the top of that. So that in there, you can download a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is critical for doing any type of rehabs or fix and flips. I've done over 100 plus rehabs, and I really took out a lot of the hiccups when I started using this spreadsheet. So what the spreadsheet does, it gives you a low, a mid, and a high probability for selling. So you look at all your comps and you say, well, worst case scenario would be this number. You know, probably average would be this number. Best case scenario would be this number. So those are the three numbers. And then on the left-hand side, you have all your costs, all your renovation costs, your, you know, everything you're gonna do to the property, including your financing costs, including your if you have realtor commissions on the buy side, sell side, closing costs on the buy side, sell side. All those costs will be reflected in there. And at the bottom, it's going to give you a profit margin on the worst case scenario, the mid, and the best case scenario. If you look at your worst case scenario, you want to make a decision off your worst case scenario. If your worst case scenario hits your minimum profit margin, say $20,000 on a deal, and it hits that minimum profit margin, then guess what? Move forward. But if you make a decision, the biggest problem I see people, that they underestimate their repairs and they overestimate what they can sell it for. So this makes you think of all the repairs that you have to do, and then makes you think as the worst case scenario. And if you make your profit, minimum profit on your worst case scenario, then buy it, take it down, fix it, flip it, and then retail it out and make whatever. Now, when you do that, you can price it at the mid or best case scenario, and guess what? You might hit a home run. But you won't find yourself in trouble on your worst case scenario. And that's what people, they make a decision based upon the best case, and then they underestimate repairs, and then they're screwed. Good question though. This is from Mike. Some fix and flip investors have been approaching me about forming a wholesaling syndication with myself and a few other wholesalers in the area. They want me to sign a contract that has a non-competition solicitation clause. I'm skeptical, and I signed a contract. Well, Mike, okay, think about if it was me, right? Now, I know you're new and maybe just getting started. Guy comes to me and says, listen, I want you to sign a contract. Imagine if I would have done this when I first started. I want you to sign a contract, no competition, right? Now, for me, I am results oriented. I am a performer. I love this business, and I love to work, and I crank it out. So I got these guys that are slacking off to the side, right? And they're just doing kind of so-so. And me, I'm a freight train. I'm going 100 miles an hour. I'm building my business, getting rich. But I'm held back now because I can't do what I want to do because I signed a stupid contract with these guys. They're limiting me to build my business to the highest potential. If it was me, I'd tell them to pound salt. Nicely, in a nice way. How much money should you have in your account before you hire as a leads manager and an outside salesperson? It's not how much money, well, obviously you want to have cash in the bank, but what happens is for a 90-day period, you have to consistently produce a certain amount of revenue on your own. So if you have, what happens in people that get started in real estate here, they have a kicking month. I made 50 grand this month. This is amazing. I'm going to hire this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. And the next month they have a $2,000 month. And then the next month they have a $8,000 month. And now they've got a couple people they have to hire. Now they got money from marketing they have to do, and and now they're freaking out, right? So the rule of thumb is you have 3 months that are consistent at a certain volume level. Then that's your indicator now that you've got your systems in place. Now you're going to be doing all the work. Then you're going to make it easy. Now you're going to hire a leads person to be able to answer phones. So what happens as soon as you hire someone, it takes you out of production because you're going to be talking to them and about their scripts and listening to them and making sure they're booking appointments correctly. And you're going to teach them your system. It takes you out of production, right? So your volume might drop a little, but then as they learn, it's going to go consistently up. And you're going to remember that. So I say at least 3 months of consistent income. Might be 10 grand, might be 15 grand a month, where you're doing it consistently, and you got a consistent system, consistent marketing, and you have the 3, and then you can take on that person and feel comfortable about it. And like I said, it might dip a little bit because you're gonna be in training mode, but then it's gonna go back up as they learn and apply the information. Sean, when would you recommend scheduling appointments with sellers if you also work a 9-to-5 job at night during the week? Over the weekend, find a way to get out of work. This is Brian. Good question. The answer is ASAP. If you get a hot seller on the line and they call, and today it's like 11 o'clock, right, or whatever time it is, 11:55 on Wednesday. So let's say they call right now on the phone. You're talking to them, and you happen to be at lunch or whatever, and you call them whatever, and they're hot. They want to sell. Hey, I got this house. I inherited it. I don't want to give it away. It needs some work and stuff like that. But I really just want to try to liquidate and get it. And you go, well, it's Wednesday, but I'll see you this weekend. Well, guess what? That house is gone, because the next call they're going to call me, right? And I'm going to say, great. I can see it in an hour. How soon can we see it? I want to see it. I need to see it ASAP. We're looking to buy one more house right now. This sounds exactly up our alley. I've seen this neighborhood. It's phenomenal. It's great. I think it'd be perfect what we're looking for. How quick can I see it? That's what I'm saying. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, how quick can I see it? The soonest I can see it is going to be like 5:30. I get up, I'm tied up till 5 o'clock. I can see it at 5:30. Can you meet me there at 5:30? This is something I really like to be interested in. Give them a positive hope, a positive expectation. They're going, hey, I love this guy. I built rapport with him. He knows the area. He loves the house. This is great. He's coming at 5:30. Guess that's going to get her to stop calling me. Call the next guy and call the next guy. She wants to feel like she's got it handled, that you're the guy that can do it. She wants to feel that she's getting, So what we do is we got hot. We set them immediately and get Nate out there ASAP, as fast as humanly possible. Okay. Retail buyer, have you purchased cash or order financing? Oh, hold on. This is okay. Retail buyers. Okay. Retail. This is from Mike again. Retail buyers have to purchase cash or owner financing, correct? But the lender will have to issue a title gap. Correct. Okay. First off, Mike, you cannot sell to a retail buyer unless they buy cash, and even owner financing is you're messing with the Dodd-Frank Act, and you have to be out of the middle, and you have to do an assignment and do it correctly. Okay, they cannot get a regular loan because there is what's called a break in the chain of title. They're gonna run a title report, and they're gonna see the seller, and then they're gonna see the buyer, right, and maybe it's you, and then they're going to see the other buyer is going to be the guy getting the loan, and then you're in the middle. You're nowhere going to be found on the title, so they call it a break of chain of title, and they will not fund that deal. So we don't even sell to retail. If I want to sell to retail, I take it down and I purchase it. I buy it myself, and I'll renovate it and put it on the market. I'll do a prehab to it just a little bit, stick it on the market. And that all depends on the area. It depends on how robust the area is, how much inventory is in the area, how fast properties move. I don't want to buy a house that's the average days on market 120 days. I don't want to buy it and sit on the thing for 120 days. I want to do it. I want to look at an area where all the pending sales and all the closings and stuff like that, all within days, like 7, 10, 15 days. Then I'll take it down. I can stick it on the market, put it at a good price, and move the thing fairly quickly. Terrence, what are you going to, when are you going to do the Podio training that you were going to post in the FTF Academy? There is a Podio training in the Academy. It's a full Podio training. I go through in detail, explain Podio. If you don't know where it is, email Chelsea at flip2freedom2@gmail.com. Just put in for my days to attend in October. Cool. Sounds good. Gerald, if time off going to approve, would there be a recording? No, we haven't done recordings of the event. We have a video crew there, but to put them in a recording is, I mean, to get the whole event edited and done. I know people do it, but you need a whole crew to take it, to edit it down. It takes months to do. So we won't have a recording of the event unless something comes up and it ain't. Right now we don't have plans to do it. Hi, Sean, you missed out on your free fountain. Ooh, free Fountain Valley round of golf, but probably just as well. Yeah, because it's tough to golf when it's 116 degrees out here in Arizona. Hey, Sean, would you recommend scheduling appointments for sellers if you also work a 9 to 5? Okay, I answered that. Caesar, 15K I made on my first deal is a third of my yearly income. It's life-changing experience. Thanks, Sean, with my second deal. Am I expecting $20,000 profit? Just these two deals make up months of my normal yearly income. Excited. Congratulations, Caesar! That is awesome. This is Jill. Will the new material with 12K in 37 days be updated in the old 12 days and 37 days also? We will. It's going to be in the new membership site that we'll have, which is like the 100K wholesaler. So right now we don't have plans to put it up into. We're actually going to remove that since it's old material. And just take it down. So people get confused. They go, what? When I go in the academy and we have responses from people, we want them to follow the 20 modules, and then they go, well, 12K, and I got this, and I got that. What the heck do I, So we're going to remove all that, and then we're going to just have people focus on that. And that's why we're doing this. This is Paul. I've been on the road for the past 4 weeks. Maybe next time when you're in OC. Yes. OC. This is from Chad. Should I send direct mail to the same list 2 to 3 times? Let's say we have a list. We send mail to it every 60 to 90 days, depending on performance. If we send it and we get a lot of good performance out of it, deals out of it, profit out of it, then we'll send it in 60 days. If it's line of lagging, then we'll send it in 90 days. Direct mail. This is from Jalen. Do mailings ever go sour for you? 14K posters, 16 total calls in 3 days. Yes. Yes, they do. It depends on, well, first off, when you send them bulk, just so you know, the mail drops over a longer span of time. When you send them first class, they drop all immediately, all at once. You get inundated. So what we do is we send bulk. We send bulk and with our letters and stuff like that. And what happens is it's over a course of about a 7 to 10 day period that the calls start trickling in. But yes, I've had busts on mailing. It happens. It's part of the business. And it sucks and it's scary when it does happen. But I mean, I've done where we sent $30,000 worth of postcards or letters or whatever. We spent 30 grand on and got nothing and got no deals. And I have a system and follow up and It happens. Doesn't happen all that. The number, and then guess what? We'll send out 10,000 and we'll get 6 deals. The numbers over time, right? And also too, it tests your tenacity to want to do this business, to do this business, right? And to become great at doing this business. That's why, there's not a lot of people that do what I do. There's not a lot of people across the country that consistently run a Mac Daddy wholesaling operation like we do, like I do, because it's very capital intense when it comes to marketing and marketing efforts. And really honing in and dialing in every aspect of it. But it does happen. It's very rare that it happens. And what I think, Jalen, is that You'll eventually get calls, coming in over the course of the time, and you'll get 1 or 2 deals or 3 deals that will pay for that, and you'll be fine. This is Caesar Craigslist. I have IFTT set up in 22 keywords, 923 leads. How do I decide which ones to call back? If you have that many leads, what you want to do is maybe tone down your keywords. If you get that many leads, you can't handle it unless you hire someone to basically, like a virtual assistant or someone to call all these people back. And then try to find out the information, put it in Podio, set up appointments for you. But what I try to do is really narrow down, so I'm not getting 900 leads. I'm getting, maybe 3 or 4 leads a day, or maybe 10 to 15 leads a week. And make sure the leads out of the 923, those particular ones, look at the ones that suck, and then remove the keywords that are producing those leads. Should I send out mail to the same list, 2 or 3 months, list 2 to 3 times a month, or just one time, maybe 1,000? Yeah, I think I answered that. Send it out, and if it's performing, resend it 60 days, but not 2 or 3 times in the same month. No. How much money should I have in your account before you hire? I answered that. Processes are being answered live, and I have an account manager. Would you be the next hire? Big star. Like I said, I would get it consistent for 3 months. You get your income at a consistent level for 3 months, and then you start hiring. That's my rule of thumb. Follow up. I already have a seller signed purchase agreement. Awesome. Approved by my closing attorney that has an assignment section for the buyer, but I am now looking for the buyer. Can I still have the buyer do a normal purchase agreement and take it to the attorney with the instructions to an assignment? Yes, you can. So have them do a normal purchase agreement, Mike, like we talked about. Have them do that. Have them put the $2,500 non-refundable down, have them do that, and then tell the attorney that you want to do an assignment. This is from Terry. I have something called Flip Real Estate, a CRM called Flip Real Estate, and it seems that my average lead generation between buyers and sellers and rent-to-own buyers only about 15 to 20 leads per month, and I'm consistently doing Craigslist ads 2 to 3 days, reposting properties that I have under contract. Can I get a better, it stops. Terry, so Terry, you were asking that, can I get a better, and your question stops, so it's probably up here a little bit. In Atlanta, Georgia, I have a property under contract, but I'm having problem finding a cash buyer. Can you help? Sure. Submit it to, go in the academy and submit it to the deal submission tab in there. We'll look at it to see if it's a deal or not, and we do have buyers in Atlanta that could potentially help out. Can you please comment on the value of ListSource versus Agent to Pro? I don't use Agent 24/7 Pro, so I don't have an opinion or a value of that. I've used ListSource and Rebuild Gateway. I've emailed 50freedom2@gmail a few times over the last couple weeks and no reply. How do I get access to closed Facebook group? Marcus, flip2freedom2@gmail.com. Well, I know Chelsea is on it. She answers her email every single day. So Marcus, flip, and just make sure you spelled it right, 2@gmail.com. Let me copy your, do I have your email? So you have an email that's leads at, yeah. I'm gonna send her an email. Please contact this. All right. I just sent it to her. Try it again. I'll ask her if she did, because otherwise, she's on it. All right, Frank, where can I see the rehab sheet? I don't see in the comments at all. It is It is. I just displayed it as a sticky frank, so you have that. Okay, can I get a better website for my sellers and buyers? Yes, we use now on Carrot. So if you go to Flip to Freedom Academy under the resources tab, my fault, under Flip to Freedom under the resources tab, website creation, you can go here. Let me post this for you. You can go to that link right there. I just posted it for you. This is from Marcus. I haven't received anything from you. Please call me 623-518-469. Okay, so that's Chelsea getting back to Marcus. So yeah, that's for Terry. That's your better website for sellers and buyers. I just posted a link there for OnCare. OnCare is the best because what it does is this has a buyer site, a seller site, and it has squeeze pages for your buyer and seller. And it's very easy to set up. It's a point and click type of system. It's killer. Signed up for 12K in 37 days, and I'm ready to get off the fence. Here, this training will provide the basic step-by-step instruction and get rolling. Absolutely. It sounds like yes, but I just want to make sure. Yes, this is typically that training is to start you from scratch and basically the whole process to going out and getting your first deal. I'm going to show you the list to mail, the mail piece to use, the script to use to talk to the sellers, booking appointments, how to book appointments, when to book appointments, going on the appointment, what to bring on the appointment, comping the property, making the offer, structuring the deal, the whole gamut. So, okay, property radar, any feedback? Never used it. Tony, is there a new mailer available that you talked about in the week? Yes. We have one. It will be coming out in the Flip to Freedom at Go Big Printing here in the next probably week and a half, to potentially week and a half. Hopefully, I'm trying to get it up before our September 4th training. So we're looking to get it up there ASAP, and you can get a copy of that. All right. Any other questions? It's 12:12. 12. You guys have been rocking. This is from Mad Dog. I am looking to make offers in New Orleans where I'm from. Values change drastically from street to street. Any advice on comps that I can make an accurate assessment of ARV and max offer? The best thing to do, right, is you use the rule of thumb. Look at all the properties that have sold within a subdivision first. That's the first thing, subdivision. Then if you can't find anything in subdivision, then you're going to go to a quarter mile, then you're going to go to a half mile, then you're going to go to a 1 mile. So, if it changes street to street, you've got to look at first just the subdivision and then look at a quarter mile, or just look at the houses around a couple streets and try to make a determination what those values are, and making sure you're comping similar properties to similar properties. If you got a house that's built in 2008 and another one that's built, in 1946, those you cannot use as comps because there's too much of a disparity in the time being built. So the bottom line is that you just got to look. You got to look real tight in the subdivision and try to find those comps that will work. So. Cool. All right, guys, get signed up for Extreme Freedom. It's gonna rock. We have so much fun at Extreme Freedom. It rocks, especially if you want to be a VIP Extreme Freedom. You get to go to dinners with us. We get big party buses, 5-star, hanging out, and you learn some killer stuff from some rock star. Our whole crew goes, and it's a blast. Where can I learn to do subject to or lease options? Subject to is inside the academy, and it's updated with the new Dodd-Frank information. Lease options, I do not do lease options, just because of the there's not much profit in it. I mean, you can make a couple grand here, a couple grand there, but much rather do agreement for sale versus lease options. Okay, I've been doing an absentee owner for several months. Any advice on how to find her? I have been looking for an absentee owner for several months, but I have any advice on how to find her? I use several sites online to locate her, but still no luck. Um, I would try talking to the neighbors. I'd try posting a bandit sign in her front yard of the property that you're looking to purchase. And any of the skip traces that can get you in touch with any relatives around the property, any relatives like, brother, uncle, sister, friend, any relatives, and then start calling them and seeing if you can get a hold of her. And when you call them and say, hey, listen, I'm calling about so-and-so's house. She has some money that's owed, this money that she could potentially receive from selling her property. Have her give me a call. This is from Jill. Thanks, Sean. I love the ethics discussion and doing the right thing. Great call. Sounds good. It is so true. Do you have information on 72 on lease options? Just answer that. Do you have money where you can seller owes more than this property is worth? How do you make money? I don't do short sales. I don't try. Short sales have restrictions on them, restrictions on if you sell them, you can't flip them. And there's a lot of legal stuff that I don't even want to get into. There's more than enough deals that are wholesale deals, more than enough deals that are wrap transactions that you can do other than dealing with those. What do you do with postcards that are returned to you undeliverable as far as taking? Those are actually probably some of the best leads. So what you want to do is try to have someone skip trace them. When we send 20, 30,000 postcards a week. So when we get, or letters, postcards, the whole gamut, we cannot skip trace all those because we get tons of them back. I wish I could, hire a guy, for, whatever, and say, I'll pay you X dollars to skip trace them. So we've thought about doing that. We just haven't crossed that line yet. So cool. All right, guys, get signed up for Flip to Freedom Academy. We will rock the house there. I'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks on the 9th of September. Do you guys believe we're in September already? We're in September already. We got October, November, December, and it's the end of the year. So we got to crank it out, man. Listen, the best time, some of the best time, don't slow down because of the holidays. The best time is October, November, and December. Cash buyers reposition their portfolios in December. Buyers look for properties in the whole December area. Sellers want to sell in that time frame. So you want to, don't back off. I don't say, I'm just going to send less mailers because it's the holidays. I'm sending mailers. We send mailers, crank it out, because that's when we bust it out. December is sometimes our best month. So do you recommend Pat Live? No, we do not use Pat Live. I've used Pat Live, but we sent, and maybe it be good for you. We sent letters. We use Pat Live, but the problem is we sent so many letters. When people called into Pat Live, it would take them 2, 3, 4 minutes to even answer the phone, and we're losing calls left and right. So we just hire an in-house person. We have 2 in-house people that answer phones, and we have coverage from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. That's what our coverage is. Answered live, they come in. So that's what we do, Renee. So, all right, guys, I will see you on September 9th. Have a phenomenal next 2 weeks, right? You guys are going to go have success. You're going to rock the house. You're going to say the right thing. You're going to get a bunch of leads. You're going to crank it out. You're going to get checks. You're going to go out and have an amazing time. And everything's going to go your way. Why? Because you're going to choose right now to do the right thing, and things are going to line up for you, and you are going to have massive success. I can feel it. I can see it. I know you can too. So guys, take care. God bless. And I will see you in 2 weeks.